Welcome to Veterans Stadium here in Philadelphia for what is expected to be a hard-hitting battle between NFC East rivals Phoenix and Philadelphia. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm James Brown along with Randy Cross. And Randy, the storyline is a common thread for both of these squads. Their fortunes will rise or fall on the arms of backup quarterbacks.
And we'll start with Philadelphia, who I think has an edge with confident, proven veteran Jim McMahon starting for Randall Cunningham. But that edge could disappear in a hurry if that offensive line of the Eagles can't keep the pass rush off the often injured McMahon.
A lot of the glow on Phoenix's undefeated preseason was dimmed considerably when they lost their starter Tim Rosenbach to a season-ending knee injury.
Well, Tom Tuba will be starting. If this is a high-tech offense, that might be a problem. But Joe Bugle's offense features grounded-out running and high-percentage passing. The tone will be set by the Phoenix Cardinals defense. They must stop 1990's #1 rushing team and get a lot of pressure on McMahon early and often.
How important is this game? Although early season, over the last 5 years, 80% of the teams that have won their first 2 games have made it to the playoffs. Every team last year. And Roger Ruzick kicks it for Philadelphia. And this is Randall Thrill Hill from his own 4. And Hill crunched at about the 21. Hill just picked up this week from Miami. Tom Tupa making only his 4th NFL start at quarterback. And the youngster from Ohio State looking forward to making amends. His first start here in Philly when he threw 6 interceptions. A big wall to protect him, anchored by the tackles. 10-year veteran Louis Sharp and Tootie Robbins. The backfield, Johnny Johnson, who did not start last week because of a bruised heel on his foot, will in fact start today along with Anthony Thompson, Ernie Jones, and Ricky Prohl, the wide receivers. First and 10 for Phoenix from its own 22. And the play is stopped before it gets underway.
Before the snap, 5 yards for a first down.
Well, Joe Bugle likes to emphasize for his quarterbacks to take as much time as possible off the clock every single time they come out of that huddle. Tupa got a little carried away. I think a little case of nerves here early in Veterans Stadium.
And it's now 1st and 15. 3 wideouts in for the Cardinals. Ball back on their own 17. Tupa back to pass on 1st down with time. And throws it complete and is dropped by Walter Reeves. Reeves had it for a second, but that Philadelphia defense right on top of him.
That Philadelphia defense is led by the man, Reggie White. I think the best player in the NFL right now on defense. Sorry, Bruce Smith, but that's the way it is right now. And here's the rest of that defense up front. Look at this group. Remember, they've got Jerome Brown still on the bench to come off and help in place of Mike Golick. Linebackers, Byron Evans can scrape and run to the ball with the best of them. And a defensive backfield. Let's keep an eye on the safeties, Hopkins and Waters. They'll be challenged by play action.
2nd and 15. Control in motion. 3 wideouts again for the Cardinals. Flags on the play. Offsides perhaps on Philly. Going downtown for John Jackson, and it's complete. So Tupa of the Cardinals finds John Jackson, 2nd-year player out of Southern Cal, for a 30-yard pass play. And we'll see what the call is on the flags thrown.
That was Tupa's usage of the snap count. He pulled Philadelphia offside.
Defensive nose guard, penalty declined, first down.
So the 30-yard gain stands, Randy.
And this is the chance we just saw was the free play. Offense nowadays, if anybody moves, they stop it right away. Defense jumps off, gets back, but they flag him for that offsides. Tupa had a free play and took full advantage of it, hitting Jackson there on the left sideline.
Out of the I formation from the 47, and Anthony Thompson. Loose ball, fumble, and it looks like Philadelphia has recovered. And it looks like Byron Evans recovered the fumble for Philadelphia.
Philadelphia came out early doing what they really want to do, and that's pound the ball away with that big offensive line. Sort of a delay sprint draw. But Thompson gets hit, and the ball is stripped away by Byron Evans, and I believe he also recovers that ball.
Evans got a lot of help that time from Mike Pitts, who actually hit it pretty hard and knocked it loose. So Jim McMahon, first series for Philadelphia from its own 48. And way offsides the left tackle, the second-year player, Cecil Gray. And Randy, you said he's got a real responsibility on his shoulders today.
71 offense before the snap, 5 yards, still first down.
Jim McMahon, 10th-year veteran from BYU at the helm. First time in 63 starts that the Eagles will have a new starting quarterback. McMahon, of course, poised and experienced. And a concern here, Cecil Gray and Antone Davis, second-year player and rookie respectively, who got to pass protect. Keith Byers, the multi-talented one, in the backfield. 1st and 15. This is Byers in motion. McMahon stumbled slightly and throws it incomplete. Intended receiver was Fred Barnett, and Barnett wants defensive pass interference.
There's Big Ken Harvey, become one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and he can play either with his hand down as the defensive end in the nickel, standing up in the nickel, or from his natural position of linebacker, he rushes the passer. Joe Bugel has gone to up front a bigger, stronger defensive line. Patterson and Faulkner are both 300 pounds plus. The linebackers, Freddie Joe Nunn back at his natural position as outside linebacker. Defensive backs, keep an eye on McDonald. He makes big plays and is always around the ball.
Sanders and Byers, the backs, on 2nd and 15 from the 43. This is Byers trying to turn the corner, and Byers run out of bounds by Lorenzo Lynch. Only a couple on the pickup. First-year head coach Rich Kotite, last year's offensive coordinator for the Eagles.
And standing next to Kotite there, the backup quarterback, Brad Gables. Great guy, young guy out of South Texas. He was most nervous about having to learn the signals. He has that responsibility today. He'll be signaling all the plays into Jim McMahon, and he's never done it.
Thank goodness for the signals and not the voice, huh? He does not have the bullhorn voice. Rich Kotite. 3rd and 12. 6 defensive backs in for the Cardinals. And a flag stops the play as McMahon was going to be under some pressure. The Cardinals in fast.
Full start, 69 offense before the snap. 5 yards, still third down.
And that's the 7th-year veteran, Bruce Colley, as we heard the call from George McCarter.
I played with Bruce Colley for 3 or 4 years, and if he has one major flaw at times, he tends to jump off sides a little bit. He's kind of high-strung player. If he gets in a tight situation, somebody he knows is quick over him, he has a tendency to flinch a little bit. We'll see that a few times, I think, today.
And obviously not too successful at controlling it over the years, huh? 3rd and 17 from the 40 of Philadelphia. And Phoenix will probably be called for offsides as Jim Waller looked to have been the man that time. And indeed it is against the Cardinals.
Offside, defensive right tackle, 5 yards, repeat third down.
We saw an example of the veteran Jim McMahon. Figured, hey, if Tom Tupa can draw my guys off on that side, I'll draw their guys off on the other side. McMahon is a lot like Steve DeBerg. He's got a real staccato to his snap count and can have a real effect on young defensive linemen, which Phoenix has a lot of.
Staccato?
Yeah, it's an Italian pastry, I think, isn't it?
3rd and 12. Ball at the 45 of Philadelphia. McMahon back to pass, under pressure, gets rid of it, and it's complete to Sanders. And Sanders knocked out of bounds at the 45 of Phoenix by Robert Massey. 9 yards picked up on the play. Will bring up a 4th and 3.
The Eagles
going to punt it.
The Eagles get lucky here because Harvey, working against Gray, goes right around Gray, gets a hit on McMahon. But here's that proven veteran we keep talking about. Flips this ball out to Sanders. Nice play by Jim McMahon, but he can't keep getting hit like that. He won't last the whole game.
Jeff Beagle's on to punt for the Eagles. And a high one as Larry Centers of Phoenix lets it go. And a great special teams play.
No score here in Philadelphia. Let's keep an eye here. Kenny Jackson working as the end here on the punt team. Great play by the special teams captain of the Eagles. He's going to come down here. Centers will fair catch and get away from the ball. Jackson completely ignores him, comes around and positions himself right near the goal line where he could catch the kick, sees the ball. What a great play. This is the wrong defense to be backed up against your end zone with.
That great play by Jackson has Tupa starting from his own 2-yard line. Wolfley and Johnson, the backs. Two yards picked up on a play by Anthony Thompson.
And Philadelphia gave Phoenix a different look there. Andre Waters came all the way up to just behind the defensive line from his strong safety position, in essence giving him an extra run defender. They obviously don't think they're going to pass the ball much with Tom Tupa this far backed up. They want to rely on that big offensive line to blast the ball out. If they don't get a first down, they need room for Camarillo to punt.
And there's a down Eagle. Clyde Simmons grabbing that knee, and not a pretty sight again for the Philadelphia fans.
Let's take a look at this play coming out of the end zone. Watch Wolfley right here, Simmons right here, and Simmons' right leg. Simmons has walked off the field under his own power, but this is a scary moment for Clyde Simmons and the Eagles. Look at that, right into the side of the knee, but that right foot came up off the turf and saved Clyde Simmons' leg.
As a matter of fact, Randy, your colleagues say the best thing is when you're going to get hit like that, make certain the leg is up off of the turf. 2nd and 8 from the 4. Tupa to pass with time. And it's complete to Pro, who's got some room. It's a foot race, dragged down at the 39 by Eric Allen. Ricky Prohl, and when you hear discussions about him, it's deceptively fast, a 59-yard pass play from Tupa to Prohl.
The thing to look at here, watch the poise of Tom Tupa, number 19. Hasn't had much playing experience. He's in his end zone against the best pass rushers in the league. What's he do? Calmly stands there and flips the ball out. Great pattern by Ricky Prohl. He's got deceptive speed, kind of sneaky patterns. He'll start one off kind of slow and then burst it up the field.
Thompson and Wolfley the backs. This is Thompson. And Thompson takes it inside the 35. Call it a 3-yard pickup by Anthony Thompson. It will bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Cardinals. You talk about poise on Tom Tupa. Randy, he was very anxious to show folks that he had matured considerably from year 1.
Oh, exactly. Even though he doesn't shave but about once a month. You look at the guy, it looks like he's about 14 years old. But this is the guy people forget was a starter at Ohio State and has lots of poise.
2nd and 7. Tupa to pass. Intended receiver was Anthony Thompson, and a smart play by Tupa to get rid of it. And as you heard Randy mention, Clyde Simmons, a bruised right knee. One of the 3 holdouts for the Eagles. Clyde Simmons, Seth Joyner, and Jerome Brown.
You know, that last play, James, is a great example of Joe Bugle's style of football. A lot of quarterbacks that stand in there, look around, maybe try to dump it to somebody. Tom Tupa has learned very early, if you want to play for Joe Bugle right there, if you don't have anybody open, you throw it into the stands to the peanut vendor.
3rd and 7. 3 wideouts in for the Cardinals. Tupa throws it incomplete. Intended receiver Ricky Prohl. Good pressure by that Philadelphia defense, Mike Pitts included.
And we'll take a look at a little of the pressure Tom Tupa's facing with this defense from Philadelphia. He's going to see Reggie Wright. He's going to see Clyde Simmons, who's now coming back into the game. Mike Pitts is working in there, 74, getting some pressure on him, but they bring backers. They bring defensive backs. It doesn't matter. It forces Tupa to throw this ball just a little bit high. Couldn't step up into his throw because of Joyner's pressure.
And Greg Davis will attempt a 52-yard field goal. His career long is 53. against the Eagles last year. And it's good. But now the official stopped the play before the kick.
If contact was made by the defensive line, that will be no play.
The line judge was waving his arms.
Philadelphia had called the timeout prior to the snap. First charge timeout.
And you know Joe Bugle absolutely loves that.
Of course Joe wants to decline it. It was over there. I don't want it. I want 3 points.
Well, in the game of tactics on the sideline, Rich Kotite got that timeout in. Charge to Philadelphia. They now have 2. We'll see if Greg Davis can duplicate the 52-yard effort.
He had plenty of leg on the last one.
It's up, and this one looks, and it's good by the barest of margins. So Greg Davis ties a club record for the longest field goal, 52-yarder. Neil O'Donohue, the man who had a previous 52-yarder for the Cardinals organization.
Well, you talk about running backs being acquired and offensive linemen and great picks by the Phoenix Cardinals. That's the best acquisition the Cardinals made in the offseason was Greg Davis. Stupid mistake by Atlanta not leaving him protected in plan B. Davis just took off, went to Phoenix, was 7 for 7 in the preseason, and has already paid dividends.
And that's amazing too, Randy, because one of the reasons the Falcons didn't want to keep him was because of his consistency or lack thereof from 40 yards or more, 8 of 18 only last year. But boy, he booted that one.
Wait, that was about a 52-yard 1-foot kick. Exactly 52 yards. That's all he had to do. That's all he kicked it.
I'll give you what you need, huh? So with that field goal, Phoenix on the scoreboard first, up 3-0. Thomas Sanders and Rod Harris back deep.
So far, Phoenix has proven they're not real intimidated by this Philadelphia defense. It's time for the Philadelphia offense to take some time off the clock and establish the running game to take heat off Jim McMahon.
Davis kicking off. From the 5, Thomas Sanders to the 20, and rocked and dropped at the 22. So Philadelphia will take over. Ball at its own 22. Jim McMahon coming out for the next series as you take a look at Brad Gable. Randy McMahon was pretty doggone vehement with us when he said, hey folks, I'm not injury prone, although he's only played a 16-game schedule once in his entire career.
Yeah, his second question to Philadelphia after saying how much am I going to make is, do you have a good medical plan? This guy gets hurt. He takes a lot of chances and he gets hurt.
Sanders, the ball carrier. And Sanders squeezes through a hole and picks up some nice yardage. Call it 6 exactly. Just inside the 30, tackled by Michael Zordich.
In order to take some of the pressure off Jim McMahon in the passing pocket, Philadelphia has to get this running game going. This isn't fancy, and it isn't particularly well blocked, but Sanders just refuses to go down, and the key there is just his stick-to-itness.
2nd and 4. Barnett to the top of your screen, wide out. Little dump pass to Sanders, who hauls it in. He has the first down and more. Thomas Sanders up to about the 38 for Philadelphia, first down.
Let's take a look at the big rookie, Anton Davis, number 78. 6'4", 325 pounds, working against Faulkner, number 94, at the top of the screen here. The one criticism he's had so far is his feet, not being able to slide well. Does a fine job against Faulkner. And then from there on, it's all a nice, beautiful run by Sanders. This is Sanders' big chance here in Philadelphia.
1st and 10 from its own 38, Philadelphia. Sanders, the ball carrier. And Sanders runs ahead. Dragged out of bounds by Tim McDonald, but a 4-yard pickup by Thomas Sanders will bring up a 2nd and 6.
Up front for the Phoenix Cardinals, Joe Bugle has put some big guys in there. Faulkner, 6'4", 305. Patterson, 6'4", 317. Jim Waller's bulked up to 285. They want to solidify the inside. Philadelphia knows that, so they're going outside. Big guys don't run good outside.
We'll call it a 2nd and 5. Ball at the 44. McMahon overthrows the intended receiver, Calvin Williams. And McMahon a little rusty. 2 of 4 for 19 yards thus far for Jim McMahon. Never known, obviously, as a quarterback with a great arm, Randy, but he likes the short underneath stuff.
He's a very accurate passer, and he says this system is fantastic. Rich Kotite's passing system is timing short patterns, and Jim McMahon really enjoys this because he knows he isn't going to have to hold on to the ball forever, which therefore will possibly cut down on the pounding he'll take.
3rd and 5. 6 defensive backs in for the Cardinals. Ball at the 44 of Philadelphia. Byers in motion. Incomplete as Byers had it around the kneecaps, but dropped it, so that'll bring on Jeff Beagles to punt it away for Philadelphia. So the Cardinals defense holds.
And this is becoming a game of field position, James. 2 guys will become very important. Beagles for Philadelphia and Camarillo for Phoenix. They'll be punting this ball back and forth, back and forth. Watch where teams are starting their drives and how long they're holding on to the ball.
Larry centers back for the Cardinals to receive this Beagles punt. Centers from his own 9, slips, and is dropped at about the 14. So a 5-yard return, call it a 7-yard return by Centers after a 47-yard punt by Jeff Beagles. You talked about Tom Tupa shaving now. Randy, I believe that was a little dirt that he put on his face before he talked with us, just to give the impression of a 5 o'clock shadow.
Well, he's got to have a little bit of a smile on his face and a little bit of a hitch in his walk right now. He's got some confidence. He thinks my guys are going to protect me up front, and if they give me time, I can throw against this defense.
1st and 10 from the 16. Tupa to pass. Incomplete. Underthrown the receiver, intended receiver, Ricky Prohl. Eric Allen on the coverage.
The protection on that last play wasn't too bad. Wasn't anything to write home about. But you had Reggie White rushing on one side. Watch Golick. He forces Tupa to kind of throw that one sidearm, and that made Tupa miss that pass. Golick got his arms up, and he wasn't able to complete that pass over the top with his natural throwing motion.
2nd and 10. Thompson. And Thompson exploded up the middle. 9-yard pickup on that play will be a 3rd and 1.
Does that say Roselle crosses for it? No, it says Eagles. Or Tagliabue, I should say. That last play for Phoenix was beautiful. Right up the middle. Hole opened up nice and wide. Thompson was running full steam ahead. Andre Waters came up and put a complete stop.
From the 25, 3rd and 1. First quarter action, Cardinals on top by a field goal. And this will be close. The fans feel that the Eagles stopped him short.
He didn't make it.
Matter of fact, he lost one on the play, so that Eagles front line did the job. You know, I thought Bugle's game plan was to establish the run, but he's shown on a couple of first downs passing first.
I think their ability to pound the ball early here and open up that defense has enabled them to throw the ball.
Rich Camarillo punting. Rod Harris from his own 37. Juke move, and he gets up to about the 41. So a 40-yard punt, 4-yard return. It'll be Eagles ball when we come back.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Full house here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. And they're looking at the Eagles trailing by a field goal, a 52-yard field goal by Greg Davis accounts for all the scoring. James Brown along with Randy Cross, and Randy, Philadelphia starting with excellent field position at its own 41.
We talked about it with their last possession. Fiegel's got a 47-yarder. It was 3 and out. Punt back, 40 yards. It's now a 60-yard field for Jim McMahon and the Philadelphia offense.
1st and 10. Calvin Williams to the near side. Jackson in motion. This is Sanders on the ground. Sanders picking his way through nicely. Thomas Sanders with a nice 7-yard scamper will bring up a 2nd and 3. Stopped by Aeneas Williams.
Good surge here by the offensive line for Philadelphia, especially the big guy, 78 on the right, Anton Davis. Look at that. Sanders is 2-3 yards into the Phoenix defense before anybody lays a finger on him. That is what Philadelphia's offense needs. They need surge, they need power, and there's a little power plant. 325 pounds of it. Davis.
2nd and 3 from the 48. Sanders again. Picking his holes. 1st down.
This is the Philadelphia BIM play. The backside tackle does not pull. Only the right tackle, Solt, will come out here on the pull. Look at Sanders and Solt. Both head up the same hole. Nice play by Lynch to come back. Lynch doesn't make that tackle right there. It is 6 points for Philadelphia.
4 carries for 35 yards for Thomas Sanders, 7th-year back out of Texas A&M. 1st and 10 from the 36 of Phoenix. Byers trip, looking for the pass, and Byers throws up a blooper, and it's intercepted by Aeneas Williams. And Williams fumbles, and it looks like Phoenix recovered. What a sequence. Not a pretty one.
There are at least 3 they what kind of plays here in this one play. Now, Philadelphia calls a halfback option pass with Keith Byers. The only problem is Keith Byers is going to his right. You might say that's no problem. Well, Keith Byers is left-handed. Watch him having to turn his whole body. He has to turn his whole body the other way to throw the ball. He's being hit as soon as he throws the ball, and he puts up that pigeon that Aeneas Williams is able to pick off. The worst thing you can do on defense when you make a big play is cause a bigger play by almost turning it over to the offense.
Byers had thrown 4 touchdowns in as many attempts last year, not to be on that play. Tupa to pass on 1st down again, the 3rd time, and has to run it. Does not get back to the line of scrimmage. As a matter of fact, he loses a yard.
And that'll go in the books as a sack for big Jerome Brown. Let's look at that hit one more time on Byers on his attempted pass. Look, he's turning his body to get his left arm free to throw, and Garth Jacks alertly, helmet and shoulder pads, perfect textbook hit. Halfbacks aren't used to taking that kind of damage throwing the ball. He goes back to the sideline, looks at Rich Kotite and says, I think in about 4 weeks, our opponents might be ready for that as well as me.
2nd sack on the season for Jerome Brown. 2nd and 11 for the Cardinals. 4:19 to play in the 1st quarter. And Johnny Johnson, 4 yards. 3-0 Phoenix. A 52-yard field goal by Greg Davis. All the scoring thus far in the 1st quarter.
If Joe Bugle drew it up before this game, he did not draw up many 3rd and long situations, which Phoenix is in now. You've got to look at Reggie White. Find him wherever he is, because that's the guy that causes the most trouble.
3rd and 10 from the 35. Tupa with time. Sidearms it. Incomplete. Ricky Prohl, the intended receiver, but there's a late flag. Prohl was covered that time by Ben Smith as well as Izell Jenkins.
Pass interference. Number 26 defense, automatic 1st down.
And that's on Ben Smith.
Look for contact here just before the ball reaches the receiver. Watch Ben Smith come up as soon as this ball gets to the receiver. Watch right there. Oh, yeah, that was interference. It looks like it in slow motion. Gee, it's easy to call. In real time, that's a tough call, but it was a very good call.
Tupa had all day, Randy.
Well, they had about 5 guys on Reggie White, I think.
Wolfley and Johnson in the backfield. 1 first down. And it's handed off to Ernie Jones. Designed nicely. Not effective. Only a yard gained on a play stopped by Andre Waters.
And because that guy right there, Andre Waters, outside linebacker Joyner, 59, gets sucked in by the fake. Watch Seth Joyner right here. Watch him go all the way in. Outside linebacker must contain on that. He knows he's wrong. At this point, he's begging that Andre Waters is doing exactly what he's doing. Taking up the entire outside. We had a little help. 92, Mr. White, I believe his name, was out there to mop up.
That was the reason for the trip by Ernie Jones when he saw White coming. 2nd and 9. 2:40 remaining in the first period of play. Cardinals on top, 3-zip. Flag on a play. It'll be Philadelphia offside. And it's caught by Johnson, who has the first down. He could go. Touchdown, Phoenix. There was a flag on a play. If it stands, it'll be a 51-yard pass play for the score by Phoenix.
That was Tom Tupa drawing the defense offside again. This is 6 points for the Phoenix Cardinals.
Touchdown.
And it looked like Jerome Brown.
Watch the jump right in the middle of the line. And it was 99. Jerome Brown came off sides. And nobody gets near Johnson. For a guy with a bad foot, he motors down that sideline pretty good.
Nice pair of hands that time on that low pass. And Joe Bugle. Words of encouragement, no doubt, for Johnny Johnson. As Greg Davis will come on for the point after. And it's good. And the Cardinals have sprinted out to a 10-point lead over Philadelphia with 2:25 remaining in the first period of play. Touchdown by Johnny Johnson. And Johnson said he came into camp, came into this season in far better shape this year than even last year.
A lot of running, conditioning. He says, I play basketball. You'd be surprised how many guys in the offseason play basketball for their lateral foot movement, their jumping, just leg strength in general. One of the favorite pastimes in the offseason for Johnny Johnson is playing little hoops.
It was really interesting. You asked him, did he feel like he had a little bit of a burden to live up to because of his year last year? He says, hey, a lot of folks still don't really know who I am.
He says, they call me Johnny Jackson. They call me John Johnson. I mean, they don't know who I am.
Jimmy Johnson. As long as they call him 39.
I tell you, the Philadelphia Eagles have messed up and got themselves into a tough football game because the Philadelphia offense is standing on the sidelines used to seeing an impenetrable Philadelphia defense that's giving up some big plays to Phoenix. This offense for Philly better get off the mark right now and keep this Philadelphia defense off the field because right now they're struggling.
Take a look at the scoring drive at time. 4 plays, 65 yards, 2:23 off the scoreboard. Make that the clock. From the 10, Sanders. Flag on a play as Sanders is dropped at about the 27. Thomas Sanders certainly working overtime as Gordon McCarter sorts it out. And Philadelphia continuing to look lethargic in the first period of play.
Holding. Number 62, receiving team during the return. 10 yards, first down.
That's Dennis McKnight.
Watch Prohl right down here working against Eric Allen and what Prohl and Allen do once the ball gets out to Johnson. A little lack of control, lack of concentration by Allen, the cornerback. Look at Prohl, break back. Johnson catches it. Allen attacks the receiver. He attacks the blocker. He doesn't even go after the guy with the ball.
From its own 13, 1st and 10 for Philadelphia. 2:14 left in the first quarter. And that looked to be Robert Drummond with a nice run off of right guard.
Rich Kotite said he would like to feature this guy a little bit today. He really likes this young running back, a guy he feels can be a real cutter and slasher. Not a power guy, but a slasher.
And there's a Cardinal down on the field. Looks like Jim Waller from here.
Well, Waller came into this game with a knee that's been bothering him. He missed last week's start, or actually he played the first couple of plays in the first quarter and came out with a sprained knee.
And he really talked about his off-season workout effort, Randy. First of all, actually, it doesn't sound like an off-season workout effort. He went home expressly for the purpose of trying to gain at least 20 pounds.
Well, he bulked up to about 309, then came back and really was in the best shape of his life coming into training camp. Worked like crazy with Tootie Robbins in the offensive line at 6 o'clock in the morning, getting up at 5:15. So, you know, you see early season injuries to guys like this and guys like Cunningham and Dave Craig. You can't imagine how much work has gone into the offseason. That's the main reason guys are so disappointed. It's not so much, gee, I won't play this year. The first thing is all that work was for nothing.
You talk about a lot of work. Think about the ex-Cardinal, Stump Mitchell.
Yeah.
Kansas City put in an awful lot of work. They said he was back and more.
And you saw that score there earlier. Kansas City off to a slow start, down 10-0 to the New Orleans Saints.
Craig Patterson in to replace Jim Waller. 2nd and 3. Ball at the 19. Drummond again. Loose ball. Phoenix says they have it. And in fact, they do. So Phoenix taking a page out of last week, forcing a fumble. Last week, Phoenix capitalized on 4 of 7 turnovers by the Rams to pull that game out.
Well, Rich Kotite calls a running play here behind Bruce Cawley, 69, the left guard, and Cecil Gray, 71. It's kind of tough to see where the ball goes, but you see Drummond struggling for the ball before he anywhere gets near down to the ground. I think the pile made him drop that thing, and Harvey signals our ball the other way.
A nice hit applied by Craig Patterson. All 317 pounds of him. Michael Zordich looked to be the guy who recovered. 1st and 10 from the 20. Johnson. Maybe back to the line of scrimmage.
Phoenix is pulling out all the stops here. They're not doing what we expected them to do. We expected them to come in here with that big offensive line and pound it and pound it and pound it. They've run a reverse. They ran a fake reverse there with a Johnson handoff. They've gone down the field to Ricky Prohl. Joe Bugle, so far, hats off. I think you've got not only us surprised, you've got Rich Kotite and the Eagles off balance.
Without a doubt. Tom Tupa, big afternoon so far. 3 of 7 only, but for 30 yards, 59 yards, and a 51-yard touchdown pass. As yet another Eagle is on the ground. Coming up next here on CBS Sports, U.S. Open men's final between Stefan Edberg and Jim Courier. Edberg and Courier both easy 3-set winners yesterday, and Randy Edberg made it look awfully easy.
Well, there's some plays here in that match I could not believe. Behind the back, over the top, between the legs. These guys did everything. When we do things like that, it's called desperation and joking around. When they do it, it's called style.
That'll be coming up next. Well, Randy, you talked about being surprised. Yourself, myself, the Eagles coaching staff, Joe Bugle, masterful game plan.
Well, last year, Philadelphia not only led the NFL in rushing, they led the NFL in time of possession. So far in this game, they've had their game taken away. They haven't been able right now to control the ball running. They're putting the ball on the ground, and Phoenix has got the element of surprise running for them.
Jesse Small heading off the field, so it was Jesse Small who was down on the ground, but he's okay. 2nd and 11, so there was a yard lost on that last play as Tupa comes up to survey. 3 wide outs in. Tupa gets it away under pressure for Ernie Jones, and it's broken up and almost intercepted. Good defensive play by Izell Jenkins.
Watch right here, coming out of the slot. We'll see Jones getting a little one-on-one coverage. Watch him break right now to the post, right to the flag. Gets a little push off, which he gets away with, but Tupa was under pressure, could not zip this ball. Izell Jenkins makes a nice play, but if Tupa could have put a little more smoke on that, that's a completion and almost a touchdown.
3rd and 11. Tupa on a keeper. He's going to be shy of the first down yardage by at least a half yard. 10 yards picked back up on a play. Andre Waters in for the stop.
The only thing they haven't run so far is just the old center snap it to himself and keep it. They've run a reverse. They're going long, and now they run a quarterback draw. 1, 2, 3. I'm running. I think Tupa went the wrong way. He veers off to the left. He had blocking to the right. He had blocking over to his left and would not have been hit. Now let's take another look at it here. Watch the big guy, Bill Lewis. The 51 is over there. He's blocking. Tupa heads to the nearest defender.
So Greg Davis will be on for a chip shot. A 28-yard field goal attempt. And it's good. So Greg Davis has put the foot in it. And Phoenix is out in front of Philadelphia by the score of 13-0. 5 seconds left in the first quarter of play. And Randy, the point that you made, Greg Davis, what a major acquisition.
That's right, JB. And let's take one more look at that quarterback draw up the middle, because I want to make a point. Watch the center right here. He's going to head this way, and he gets a block downfield. Tupa's going to head to the right. If Tupa heads to the left and goes with Big Lewis, number 51, his center, I think he makes a first down, and Phoenix gets a chance to get a touchdown and to score on that position instead of settling for a field goal. It's 13-0. Phoenix has the momentum, but little things like that in football tend to come back and haunt a team.
Let's take a look at Bill Lewis and Willie Williams.
I mean, centers used to be 250 pounds. Bill Lewis is 290 pounds, 6'6".
And I thought you were pretty big.
I mean, they said the guys like that used to be too big to play football, much less center.
Greg Davis boots it away. And Sanders from his own 4. This will be the last play of the first quarter. And Davis dropped at the 21. And that's the end of the first quarter of play. And the Phoenix Cardinals lead it 13-0.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Buick and your local Buick dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. Fram oil filters. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light. It doesn't get any better than this.
The Phoenix Cardinals have done a nice job at taking the 12th man, the 65,000 plus here, out of the game. Cardinals lead it 13-0. But Randy, as you mentioned before, not a particularly big cushion.
13-0. It might, maybe I'm paranoid. Maybe I'm making a big deal out of this, but it's 13-0. Philadelphia, 2 touchdowns. They're ahead. Little things like going the wrong way, not getting the first down, settling for a field goal instead of a touchdown come late in the fourth quarter. I just think, in my opinion, those little mistakes come back and come home to roost late in the game.
We'll take note. 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Ball at their own 21. Start of the second quarter here. McMahon back to pass. Overthrows the intended receiver, Fred Barnett.
Jim McMahon,
2 of 6.
Sorry, James. Jim McMahon seems to just be a little out of sync so far in the passing game. He's not zipping his balls at the proper level. He's putting them awful high, but a lot of receivers refer to as hospital balls.
Hospital balls.
Hospital balls. You get up there with your arms stretched out high up in the air trying to catch a pass. It's open season. It's rib season.
Understand. So I guess we understand why some receivers going across the middle show the effect of alligator arms, huh? 2 tight ends on 2nd and 10. Jackson in motion. McMahon throws it complete this time to Barnett. who tries to juke move, but he's going to be about a yard shy of the first down marker, stopped by Aeneas Williams. An 8-yard pass play will bring up a 3rd and 2.
That's pretty typical of a Fritz Shurmur defense. Fritz Shurmur, the new defensive coordinator for the Phoenix Cardinals, who came over from the Los Angeles Rams. You know, the old saying, and I hate saying it over and over, but bend don't break defenses. That is Fritz Shurmur's forte. He'll give up 6, he'll give up 7. If he has a choice, this man won't give up the first downs, and he'll be doggone if he's giving up points. Not many teams score a lot of points on Fritz Shurmur defenses.
From the 30, 3rd and 2 for Philadelphia. Sanders, he has it, and there's a flag on a play as Thomas Sanders takes it across the 35 to the 36.
Oh, I get a little pang, a little twinge, because when they throw flags in that part of the field, that's offensive holding, and it usually isn't on a tight end or a running back. It's on one of the big fellas.
Boy, Philly hurting itself.
Holding, 66, offense, 10 yards, repeat 3rd down.
And that's the 7th-year vet out of Maryland University, Ron Salt.
Well, you see Philadelphia is getting after themselves pretty good with a penalty standpoint. And look, Coach, you can see the frustration right there on Rich Kotite's face. That is not a happy camper. He'll wear that thumb. He keeps chewing on that thumb. He'll be down about his wrist by the 3rd quarter.
Third and 12 from the 20. Myers in motion. And Mcmahon throws it incomplete. And you talk about a hospital route, Randy. Calvin Williams that time anticipating the hit. And Tim McDonald obliged him.
Well, here's a guy with a PhD if you're talking about hospital balls. Tim McDonald, number 46, coming in from the top of the screen. Look at that. Oof.
Perfect timing.
Got nothing but shoulder pad and rib meeting right there. And Williams was pretty happy, I would imagine, about not getting driven in and injuring something.
Eagles punch this one to Centers from his own 28. And Centers up to about the 37-yard line, a 9-yard return of a 52-yard punt. 13:24 left in the 2nd period of play. Phoenix on top, 13-0. And we'll be back with more action after this. As you take a look at the game summary, Phoenix 167 total yards, and Randy, much like last week in the victory over the Rams, Phoenix 10 points off of the turnovers of Philadelphia.
And the big play so far has been Johnny Johnson's 51-yard touchdown on really what looked to be almost a broken defensive play. Tupa flips the ball out to Johnson. Johnson goes racing down the sidelines. But the biggest mistake here is Allen is fighting with Ricky Prohl right here. Look at that. He's fighting with the receiver. The guy with the ball runs right by him. Big mental blow by a defensive back.
And the result, 13-0 Phoenix. But a good play by Jerome Brown as he grabs the runner in the backfield for a loss. Johnny Johnson tripped up and dropped in the backfield. Johnny Johnson humorously talked about how his big feet can hurt him at times.
Well, that's right. It's size 14.5. I mean, the heck with grabbing jersey, go for foot. And Jerome Brown brings them down by the dogs. Gets them down there around the feet. This Philadelphia defense had better fire up and realize they're going to have to start scoring some points in 1991 because Randall Cunningham isn't there, and this offense is really in a funk.
2nd and 12. 3 wideouts for the Cardinals. Tupa reverses field. Shows the big arm going deep for Ernie Jones, and it's complete. Ernie Jones beating Ben Smith down to the 12-yard line, a 52-yard pass play.
For those of you in Phoenix, if you thought 4-0 was a fluke in the preseason and the first one was lucky, I'm here to tell you this Cardinal team is for real. Tupa taking a hit, making a great throw. Just put that ball up there for Ernie Jones to run under. That wasn't a planned play. You don't draw it up like that. That's one of those, I'll throw it as far as I can. You use your speed, Ernie Jones. You get under it and you make the catch.
The 4 for 9 of Tom Tupa is not impressive, but the 193 yards certainly is. 1st and 10 from the 12 of Philadelphia. crushed after one step. Byron Evans leading the charge. 11:40 remaining in the first half. Phoenix on top by 13.
Let's take another look at that hit. Watch big Byron Evans lining up right here. Does he buy much? Is anybody going to block him? I don't think so. He's supposed to be the guy to get trapped. Woof. Nobody. Woofley's trying to come in there from the wing back in motion to trap him. He didn't even breathe on him.
Rearrange the earwax on Anthony Thompson's run.
Okay,
2nd and 12.
They've got a big play. Philadelphia needs turnovers to get back in this game.
Tupa with the fade pattern. Intended receiver is Ernie Jones, covered by Ben Smith.
Right now, I think the most impressive thing that's happening is the offensive line for Phoenix is taking Reggie White out of this football game. Reggie White, we haven't even called his name outside in the lineups. Tootie Robbins told us when you're playing Reggie White, you got to get on him early. If he gets on a roll on you, he can kill you. He says, I'm going to set short and I'm going to get in his face. I play this guy a lot. If I can stop him early, I can control him. Right now, this line and Tootie Robbins is controlling the Philadelphia defense.
Nickel defensive package in for the Eagles. And flags on a play. Now, is that Jerome Brown again? Boy, the big fella having a little difficulty out there, huh?
Encroachment before the snap. 99 defense. 5 yards, still 3rd down.
The fans here in Philly can't be too pleased with what they're seeing right now. A lot of penalties being called on the hometown team. Phoenix leading the Eagles 13-0. James Brown along with Randy Cross. 11:05 remaining in the first half of play. And Phoenix threatening again. Ball at the 9 of the Eagles.
You know, Rich Kotite there probably thought he left a lot of these mental mistakes and stupid errors in Westchester at training camp. They're making some mistakes now that you make in the first week or so before you ever get to a preseason game.
3rd and 7. Tupa looking for Central, takes it himself and gets it down to the 5. Stopped by Byron Evans.
He would look to be just a little short of that first down.
By at least a yard. 4 yards picked up on a play. So Greg Davis will come on for the field goal. Okay. So Greg Davis with a busy foot in the first half will come on to attempt a 22-yard field goal. But it's good. So Greg Davis, with his 3rd field goal in the first half, has booted the Cardinals out in front by the score of 16-0. Well, Randy, you said this was a major move in the offseason, getting this guy right here a valuable foot in the first half. Indeed, 3 field goals, helping to account for the 16-0 Cardinals lead over the Eagles. 9:54 remaining in the first half. And Davis with a high kickoff from the 40, make that the 5 of Thomas Sanders. And Sanders with an excellent return, still on his feet across the 35 to the 36. So Thomas Sanders with an excellent return. But the scoring drive that Greg Davis capped off was a 6-play drive covering 57 yards, 3:30 off the clock, and Davis with a 22-yard field goal, and it's 16-0 Cardinals. As we take a look at the key play on that drive, it was a 53-yard pass from Tom Tupa to Ernie Jones, and Ernie Jones had a beautiful move last week against the Rams, an out pattern that he faked the defender nicely. 1st and 10 from the 36. 9:43 remaining in the first half. McMahon with time throws it incomplete to Calvin Williams, and Randy, that was a catchable ball.
I think it very much was, James. This game, it was a ball Williams should have had, and he knows it. But in that last drive, I talked about how Tootie Robbins and the line were taking control of this game. Look at big Tootie Robbins, 63, working against White. Look at that. This is the big pass rusher in the league. Robbins gets on him heavy, and he gets on him early. Unless this defense for Philadelphia comes alive, I don't give Philadelphia a chance at all winning this ball game. Philadelphia's defense will have to win this game, not this offense, because this offense is completely dead.
2nd and 10. Williams in motion. Sanders wraps up briefly, but breaks loose to pick up a yard on the play. And will bring up a 2nd and 9. Make that 3rd and 9. Garth Jacks on the stop. Randy, according to the spot, it looks like no gain on the play.
Philadelphia better start getting some offense, because that defense has been 3 and out, 3 and out. Philadelphia's defense is going to start dragging.
On 3rd and 10, McMahon from the shotgun, going up top. And overthrows the intended receiver, Fred Barnett. And the Boo Birds among the 65,000 letting McMahon know what they feel and how they feel. Here's a guy who has to go take a water break.
Jim McMahon shaking his head, and the reason he's shaking his head is right now the kind of pass protection in these 3rd and long situations he's getting from his offensive line. Cecil Gray once again got beat by Ken Harvey, who came in and put a heck of a lick on McMahon.
And Fiegels with a high punt. Larry Center smartly calling for the fair catch and loses the ball, but recovers it. So Phoenix will start from its own 16. A 45-yard punt by Fiegels, and the Cardinals will start from their own 16.
Some of the fans here in Philadelphia were a little bit nervous that Rod Harris right here might have interfered with Centers. Centers is fair catching, and you got to give the guy a legal chance to catch the ball. But he blurs by, but he's blocked by Centers. He distracts him. Centers drops the ball, but for Phoenix's luck right there, they get the ball back.
With 8:39 remaining in the 2nd period of play, Tupa on 1st down. Throws it complete. Just about. No, it's incomplete. He had it temporarily. Now, wait a minute. Did they call it good or not? One official saying no, the other saying yes. It looks good. So they got it together, and now I have it together. A 9-yard pickup on that pass play to Ernie Jones.
Let's see Tom Tupa moving to his right, keeping that pocket mobile and being a moving target. Just zips this ball in a row. People around the NFL got to be saying, this the real Tom Tupa? Tom Tupa having a heck of a day.
Indeed, he likes the big ball. 2nd and 1. And Johnson has it with plenty to spare. So Johnny Johnson, who comes into today's game only about 75%, according to Joe Bugle, paying big dividends early on.
Well, if he's 75%, then Rich Kotite and the Eagles got to be very happy that Joe Bugle of the Phoenix Cardinals has a 75% Johnny Johnson, because he's having a heck of a game so far, and he's attributed for a good chunk of that 236 yards offense.
It'll be 1st and 10 for Phoenix. Ball at its own 32. Nowhere to run that time. Not when you have 300 pounds coming in and smothering you. Big Jerome Brown.
Well, so far, Big Jerome has been in for about a week and a half in camp, has been making either a big play or jumping off sides. He's on sides here. He fights through Bill Lewis's block number 51 and makes a great play in the backfield.
And Johnny Johnson ran into a wall that time. Jerome Brown saying that holding out, the only thing he has to get accustomed to now is playing with the pads on. Nickel defensive package in for the Eagles on 2nd and 13 for the Cardinals. Tupa throwing for Pro. Incomplete, as Eric Allen and Pro both were trying to get a read on that pass, and down on the play is Walter Reeves of the Cardinals, who's writhing in pain.
Well, the difference so far for Philadelphia in this game, if Philadelphia put a ball up like that, Phoenix would have intercepted it. Tom Tupa throws the ball up for grabs. Philadelphia is nowhere near it, and they can't get it.
And Walter Reeves, a third-year player out of Auburn, down on the ground. Caught 3 passes last week.
Boy, New Orleans and Buffalo way out ahead early. New Orleans 17-0 over Kansas City. We did that game last week, James. Okoye, 147 yards, great running game. Obviously, New Orleans defense came to play today.
No question about that. Bobby Hebert trying his best to get the Saints fans back on his side. Joe Bugle really talked highly of this guy here, Walter Reeves, saying that he had worked with him a lot in the offseason on a passing game.
He kiddingly kind of said, we throw out Walter Reeves about 1,000 balls a day just to get him used to it. We want to work this guy into our pass offense. And at his size, I mean, look at this. We're talking about 6'3", 265-pound tight end. I mean, safeties and cornerbacks do not want to tackle guys like that.
Coming up on the NFL Today Dockers halftime report, Greg and Terry will have all the scores, highlights, and latest information. And Tim Ryan will have an update on the U.S. Open Men's Championship Final. That will be featuring Stefan Edberg against Jim Courier. As Jim Mcmahon trying to get a little rust out of that arm, only 3 of 13.
That's the only time he's had to throw all day long when nobody's been trying to hit him and put him on the ground.
3 of 13 for the Cardinals on 3rd down. We'll see if they get a first down here. Tupa under pressure, has to let it go early, and Prohl is down. No flag on the play. So the Cardinals, Rich Camarillo will come on to punt it away.
Good job of penetration here by the Philadelphia defense. They're stunting, they're blitzing, they're twisting, they're coming after Tom Tupa. Tupa knows a hit's coming, he flips it up, and where he put it, nobody could get it.
Rod Harris signaling for a fair catch. Takes it at his own 29, a 41-yard punt by Rich Camarillo. So at 5:47 remaining in the first half of play, Philadelphia will have it 1st and 10 at its own 30, trailing by that number there. 16-0.
And this Philadelphia crowd starting to rise up and cheer a little bit, trying to inspire this Philadelphia offense that so far has had a few spurts with the running game, but the protection's been shoddy and the consistency has been zilch.
1st and 10 from the 30. Williams in motion. Complete to Barnett for the first down.
I'm sure Jim McMahon has figured out by now, I've got to take this game onto my shoulders. These guys are going to get shots on me, but I got to start making the throw. Good throw, good shot. Big Peterson comes in and levels him.
317 pounds worth of leveling.
And he's from BYU. You'd think he might let up a little bit on old Jim, being a fellow Cougar.
It's all about paychecks now. 2 tight ends, Keith Jackson, Mickey Schuler in. 1st and 10 from the 41. On the ground, fumble. And it's recovered. Heath Sherman, the 3rd-year back out of Texas A&I. Lost the handle on that one, but got it back.
Well, this is an example of just sort of a back trying to bang the ball up there and get some yards where there isn't much of a hole. Heath Sherman trying to make that cut up behind Keith Byers, makes the cut, forgets the ball.
And it brings up a 2nd and 12 situation from the 39. Schuler, the tight end, out. Calvin Williams back in. Sherman, the lone back. McMahon was looking for Byers, goes to his next receiver, decides to run it himself. and knocked out of bounds at the 41. A 2-yard gain on the play. And Lorenzo Lynch applying a wicked hit to McMahon.
No pressure here on McMahon to speak of. He's able to get out here. Anton Davis right there doing a good number on Faulkner 94. But I tell you what, he starts to scramble. Rod Harris, you might not see it here, right there. See that object flying in the air, 78? That was Williams. Watch Rod Harris. Bam! That's a wide receiver. I like that guy. I haven't seen him play much on offense. He returns kicks, but I like him. That was a nice hit.
And you said they're not supposed to block well, huh? 3rd and 10. Ball on the 41. McMahon complete to Byers for the first down. And more. And the ball came loose on the hit. The officials are signaling Cardinals ball. Marcus Turner on the recovery.
Byers in motion here in the top left part of your screen. Let's keep an eye on him. He's the man they like to go to in the must-go situations. He's wide open in the middle. Now let's see what happens to the ball. Right there, Lorenzo Lynch, 29, strips the ball out of Byers' hands, and there's nothing but red jerseys around it now.
So the Cardinals get it back. Excellent field position. Ball at the 45. 3:27 left in the first half of play. Tupa all day long. Throws an interception. Seth Joyner. A 46-yard return. Ball will be marked at the 6.
Seth Joyner looking on the left side of your screen right there, 59. Look him come across the field. Great anticipation right in front of Johnson. And now something you also don't see real often. Here's a quarterback giving it up to prevent a touchdown. Tom Tupa gets him by the collar and yanks him down. Saves 6 points for the Cardinals. And the fans here in Philadelphia finally got something to yell about.
1st and goal from the 6. Sanders. Forward progress should be to about the 4. Stopped by Michael Zordich.
What looks to be initially a good play by Philadelphia is immediately stopped up by the Phoenix defense. Look at this. Looks like there's a hole inside. Sanders sees the hole. Unfortunately, there's Zordich. There's McDonald. In comes Waller. They were there ready for him.
Ball marked at the 3, brings up a 2nd and goal. We mentioned 40 left in the first half.
We mentioned the Philadelphia defense has to start making the big plays. They've made their play. Philadelphia offense, what do you got?
Sanders. Touchdown, Philadelphia, no flag. Ruzick on for the point after. And the Eagles finally on the scoreboard. Trail it 16-7. And Thomas Sanders with a real good effort here in the first half.
And Thomas Sanders pulls a bugleism out on bugle in his Phoenix Cardinals and plays a little smash mouth football up front, putting big bodies on big bodies. He sees a hole. He sees guys who are going to try to tackle him. They got nothing but pieces and corners. He scores easily.
pieces and corners. So the 65,000 faithful here finally have something to cheer about.
Sanders has had a lot of work today. No doubt needs a little rest. Get over there, get a little water, a little oxygen. And imagine a little incentive speech at halftime, because this Philadelphia offense had better come to play in the second half to keep the Eagles in the game.
Cruiser about to kick it away. Larry Centers and Randall Hill back for the Cardinals. Hill from his own 3. Smash at the 14. James Joseph. Two plays, 6 yards, less than a minute. Thomas Sanders on a 3-yard run. And the key play, a 41-yard interception return, Seth Joyner. And we have a 16-7 ball game. Cardinals on top. 2:17 remaining. There's Joyner. And there's Tupa.
It's going to be loud, and the Philadelphia defense will be bringing some heat.
On the ground. Call it a 3-yard pickup by Johnny Johnson as we head down to the 2-minute warning. And there's a timeout on the field. Charge to Philadelphia. That leaves him with just 1. Phoenix with its full complement of 3 as you take a look at Rich Kotite, first-year head coach here in Philadelphia.
We talked at the head of this game, James, about Jim McMahon's experience, and Jim McMahon can lead this team because he's confident and he can do it as long as he gets protection. He hasn't gotten protection so far today. The story of this game has not been so much the lack of protection. It's been really, I think, the lack of concentration and continuity on the Philadelphia offense. Every little mistake Philadelphia's made, Phoenix has taken advantage of it, and then some. The Philadelphia defense has been unable to control that man right there, who is a passing fool. Low percentage, but lots of big plays so far for the passing game in the Phoenix Cardinals. And the Phoenix offensive line has been able to physically control a tough defensive line.
The only big mistake so far for Tupa, that 1 interception. 2nd and 7. Ball at the 17. Johnson, the ball carrier. No gain on the play. Clyde Simmons and Mike Golick doing the job as we're at the 2-minute mark of the first half. On a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in Philadelphia Veterans Stadium, James Brown along with Randy Cross and the Cardinals out to a 16-7 lead over the Eagles with 1:59 remaining in the first half. It'll be 3rd and 10 for the Cardinals. Ball at their own 15-yard line. And Randy, you're looking for a big defensive stop here.
I think if Philadelphia can stop them here and maybe cause a turnover, we go into the locker room with Philadelphia only trailing by 2, because they'll score again.
About 4 yards shy of the first down. Wes Hopkins on the stop.
Nearly a back-breaking type play for the Philadelphia defense. Big Joe Wolf comes in there and traps a little bit. Wolfley's out leading Johnson. If not for that saving tackle right there by by Ben Smith, number 26, he goes an awful long ways. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the National Football League is prohibited.
So you say that qualifies as a decent defensive posture?
That's adequate. Decent would have been to stuff him from no gain or stuff him for a loss.
Gotcha.
They nearly cost themselves a lot right there by letting a big play break out from step back.
Okay. Camarillo with the boot. Harris from the 36. And gets up near the 44-yard line, hog-tied by Marcus Turner. A 43-yard boot, a 5-yard return. 1:44 remaining as Jim McMahon comes on to see what he can do here with 1:44 left in the first half.
Now this is the time in the game, 2-minute drill. Needs a lot of coordination in this offense. A great leader like McMahon can't just do it. He's got to have all 10 other guys working on the same page as him if they're going to get into scoring position.
McMahon, 1st and 10 from his own 44. Myers in motion. McMahon going up top, looking for Barnett. Nearly a spectacular catch by Barnett, who had to readjust for the back over the head look, covered by Aeneas Williams.
Jim's got to be a little bit ticked at himself right there because he gets pretty good protection. It's maximum protection. They're bringing out guards and running backs and everybody else to give him time. He throws it way out over that right shoulder of Barnett, who has to adjust. If he'd have laid that thing out flatter and further, it would have been 6 points, Philadelphia.
There's been a correction in timeouts remaining. The Eagles have none left. 1:37 left in the first half. McMahon back to pass again to Williams, complete. Trying to get to the first down marker, and he does. Good second effort on the part of Calvin Williams, and again, with the Eagles having no timeouts remaining, the clock continues to tick.
Good poise by the Eagle offense. They're not rushed. They're not hurrying. Bad time for a bad, stupid mistake.
From the 44 on first down, McMahon dumps it off to Sanders. Sanders with the first down. Down to the 30 of Phoenix. And again, the clock continues to tick. Less than 50 to play in the first half.
Plenty of time here. They're within Ruzek's field goal range, and McMahon kills the clock. James, if I get asked one question a lot, it's how come a quarterback is not intentional grounding? They say a quarterback will throw the ball out of bounds, they'll call intentional grounding. He'll back up 2 steps and fire that dog into the ground where only nobody's got a chance of catching it. Why isn't that intentional grounding?
Good question.
It's always in the last 2 minutes they can do that. NFL looks after their quarterbacks.
In that situation.
Some offensive lions don't look after their quarterbacks, but the NFL does.
2nd and 10 from the 30. McMahon going deep. Incomplete. Is there a flag on a play? No flag. Robert Massey defending Fred Barnett. And Barnett wanted a flag.
Look at the lower left of the screen here. This is not a bad defensive play. Both players are turning around, adjusting, trying to get to the ball. If anything, Barnett is trying to get his hands around Massey to maneuver to get around him into the end zone to get the ball.
3rd and 10 from the 30.
We haven't seen anything of Calvin Williams so far today, and hit 9 touchdowns last year.
McMahon throws it, nearly intercepted by Lorenzo Lynch. As a matter of fact, that was a catchable ball for Lynch.
It's an old used out term, but running before you get the ball. Lorenzo Lynch is thinking, I got a pick. I've got some yardage in front of me. All he ended up with is empty hands and a ball in his face.
So Roger Ruzick on for a 47-yard field goal attempt. His longest career-wise is 53. It's up. And it's good. So the Eagles draw within 6 of the Cardinals.
And Roger Ruzick does what he has to do, gets up above the rush of the Phoenix Cardinals. No chance of blocking that one, and Ruzick gets a chance to let everybody know there's another kicker out here at Veterans Stadium today besides Greg Davis of the Cardinals.
No doubt a momentum shifter for the Eagles. That interception return by Seth Joyner, and the Eagles have come to life.
Well, from the look of that Eagles offense just now, maybe when they come out in the second half, they should come out in 2-minute offense. Come out in 2-minute offense, don't huddle, and just run the ball down the field.
Just go. Sandlot style.
They seem more organized and more poised during that one little brief drive than they had for the other 29 minutes in the first half. Cardinals are looking for an onside kick here.
We'll see if Ruzick obliges. Does not. And Hill from the 7 to about the 13. And don't forget, coming up at halftime, it'll be the NFL Today halftime report. Greg and Terry will be coming your way with everything from around the league, scores, highlights, and of course the latest information. And Tim Ryan will bring you an update of the U.S. Open Men's Championship Final. That between Edberg and Courier. Phoenix with the full complement of timeouts remaining, 3. Philadelphia out of them. 26 seconds remaining in the first half.
You got to look for Tom Tupa here to just take a snap and hatch the ball. Just sit on this thing and run the clock out and be happy with the lead he's got.
So Philadelphia will receive it in the second half, but right now at the end of the first half, it's the Cardinals leading the Eagles 16-10. The Eagles came to life, as I mentioned before, on that interception return by Seth Joyner. And Joe Bugle will have some pluses to elaborate on at halftime. So that's the end of the first half. Phoenix on top, 16-10.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Oldsmobile. Come see the power of intelligent engineering. The United States Marine Corps, the few, the proud, the Marines. And by Miller Lite. It's it, and that's that. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Lexus and the new ES300 Sports Sedan. Shearson Lehman Brothers, you can get there from here. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now.
Back here in the city of brotherly love, Eagles trailing the Cardinals 16-10. James Brown along with Randy Cross. And Randy, it was a real poor start to say the least for Philadelphia in the first quarter, giving Phoenix all kinds of opportunities.
Yeah, Philadelphia was showing a lot of brotherly generosity, putting the ball on the ground, jumping off sides, making a lot of mistakes, and Phoenix early took advantage of every mistake that Philadelphia made.
As a matter of fact, taking advantage of that mistake, Johnny Johnson figured big in the first quarter for the Phoenix Cardinals, helped putting them up by 7-0. A 51-yard pass play from Tupa.
51-yard play. Johnny Johnson goes all the way here. The key mistake, Eric Allen, number 21, fighting with Ricky Prohl, ignores the ball and lets Johnny Johnson open all the way down for 6 points.
Philadelphia finally got itself together a bit in the second quarter, inspired defensive play, but the momentum changer clearly was the interception return and a 41-yard, I don't know if we can call it a jaunt, Randy, but it was a rumble by Seth Joyner.
Rumble's the right adjective, James. Seth Joyner makes a good decision here, cuts in front of Johnny Johnson, intended for the pass here. Tupa throws it out there. Joyner cuts in front. Now watch what Tupa does, though. Tupa is not going to allow a touchdown. Louis Sharp, 67, is sure as heck not going to catch him, but Tupa hog-ties him, and that's a quarterback risking injury but not willing to give up 6 points.
And that set up a 3-yard scamper by Thomas Sanders for the lone Philadelphia touchdown. As we take a look at the halftime stats, passing yardage, something we did not expect at all from Phoenix.
Not from Tom Tupi. He has not had a high percentage of passes so far, but the passes he's completed have all been big plays.
Back to live action, and we're underway as Philadelphia will receive Thomas Sanders a yard deep in his own end zone. And he's crunched at about the 16. So Jim McMahon will lead the charges. Operating the ball marked at about the 17 of Philadelphia. Now, you said McMahon pretty much got back in sync, if you will, late in the second quarter.
That whole offense got in sync in that 2-minute drive, driving down for that last field goal. I think something really key to keep an eye on. Watch number 9. Watch McMahon. He's a guy that can motivate this team. Somebody does something wrong, Jim McMahon will let him know about it. An offensive lineman misses a block, he'll get right in his face. A receiver drops the ball, he'll get right in his face. Jim McMahon has got to take this offense by the throat and tell him he wants to win the game.
Pushing hard. Nets only a yard on the run. Eric Hill on the stop, assisted by Michael Zordich. Randy, as we take a look at Rich Kotite, he's talked a lot about how McMahon was just misread, that he really is, in fact, a leader of sorts. But why is it that McMahon is viewed so strangely by the majority of folks?
Well, I think Jim sort of perpetrates the myth. You know, he wants to be perceived as kind of the flake. He's got the ponytail, he's got the visor, he's got the look. He's always done things different, but he's always done things one way. He's done them Jim McMahon's way.
2nd and 9 from the 18. McMahon under pressure. Freddie Joe Nunn giving pursuit. And guess who was also giving pursuit? Big Jeff Faulkner, all 305 pounds plus. But there is a flag on the play.
Anytime things break down like that, offensive linemen tend to do things out of desperation. They'll hold, they'll trip, they'll kick, they'll do anything they can to keep a defensive lineman off their quarterback.
Freddie Joe Nunn certainly had a bead on McMahon. And this goes against the Eagles.
That type of signal there from the referee usually means a hand in the face.
Here we go, block. Number 78 offense. Penalty decline. 3rd down.
And that's the rookie Davis.
Let's take a look at this last one. There's Jim McMahon. You're about to see a very motivated quarterback because Freddie Joe Nunn, look at him coming in. Nobody breathes on him. Look at him high-stepping. Jim McMahon's got some legs left. He's waving people around. But he knows Big Faulkner, 94, all 305 pounds of him, is about to bear down on him, and he wisely steps out of bounds.
And it was called, believe it or not, it was actually called a sack.
Anytime he goes up behind the line of scrimmage, it's a sack on offense.
Okay, so it makes it 3rd and 16. Ball at the 11. Complete to Jackson. And Jackson way short of the 1st down.
Not exactly the start Rich Kotite and the Eagles wanted to get on the offense. Once again, this puts a lot of pressure on Eagles to get a good punt off, and it's Philadelphia defense to shut Phoenix down right now, 3 and punt, and get the ball back to the offense.
Larry Centers back waiting for this Eagles punt. Centers from the 33. And Centers gets it up to about the 45-yard line, stopped by Britt Hager. So Tom Tupa will come back on to try to get the Cardinals going. A 49-yard punt, 13-yard return by centers. And as you take a look at the numbers for Tupa, statistically not all that impressive, but he certainly hit some big ones, Randy.
Look at that bottom stat. 3 for 3, 40 yards plus. A lot of his yards, 51 yards, 56 yards, big chunks coming on the big plays.
Johnson. And Johnny Johnson with those 14.5 shoes driving straight ahead. A gain of about 6 on the play. We'll call it 7.
Any coach in the NFL will tell you the offensive line gets a running back the first 2 to 3 yards. Once you get that first 2 or 3 yards, it's the running back's job from then on to do the rest. And we'll see this big offensive line, another sprint draw to Johnny Johnson. Little hesitation. There's the first 3. Now watch some determination and some drive. Lance Smith's pushing him a little bit from behind, but Johnny Johnson's doing most of the drive.
On 2nd and 3. And the first down is picked up. Johnny Johnson. Now, Randy, we've been waffling a bit talking about he wears between a size 14 and a 15, but he says it depends on the surface he's playing on.
AstroTurf, you naturally want a little bit tighter fit on your shoe because you don't want that shoe to give too much. The shoe gives a little too much. Guys develop foot problems like Johnny Johnson's had with that arch. He said he gets his arch problems. People fall on the back of those heels. And look at the size of those dogs. I mean, there's a lot of leverage. You put enough weight on the back of that heel, there's a lot of leverage, a lot of tension going on those arches.
From the 45 of Philadelphia, 1st and 10. Out of the I formation. Johnson, the ball carrier. Nowhere to go that time. Oh, he bounces off of a tackle. Still alive. And Seth Joyner comes over to finish it up. So a good 2nd and 3rd effort, but it all netted 1 yard.
Good defensive front right here. Where's Waters? Strong safety. He's going to move up here and try to stuff things in the middle. And the Philadelphia defense does a very nice job. Golick in the middle. There's Waters. They stop this play up fine. Now you're going to look at one of the better 1-yard runs we've seen today because Johnson is not going to be denied. He wants something for his efforts. Good pursuit by Seth Joyner to bring him down out of bounds.
2nd and 9 from the 43. Play action. Complete to Pro for the first down. To the 27-yard line of Philadelphia. A 17-yard pass play from Tupa to Pro.
Rookie Prohl did a nice job there once he caught the ball. He's very deceptive. What the defensive back said, we mentioned earlier, they don't expect the kind of speed out of this guy. They almost think he's a possession-type receiver. He'll burst off the ball like he's a 4'6", 4'7" receiver, but he's got the ability to turn it into another gear and go down to the 4'4" type receiver he really is.
10-10 remaining in the 3rd period of play. Phoenix marching. Ball at the 27. Johnson. And Johnson scooting ahead for a couple. Dodgers and Pittsburgh knotted up 1 apiece, top of the 5th.
Dodgers trying to stay a half a game in front of Atlanta.
And right now, Atlanta trailing by 3, top of the 4th to New York. Randy, you said the Dodgers would in fact come on down the stretch. I had Atlanta.
They've got too many arms, James. That whole staff is packed. They've got plenty of pitching
and a lot of experience. 2nd and 9. Ball at the 25. Thompson, the ball carrier. Maybe a yard.
What you're seeing Joe Bugle and the Phoenix Cardinals doing right now is just sort of NFC East football. They're getting this ball. They're taking time off the clock. You see him pounding away at the middle. 1st down's a run, 2nd down's a run, maybe a play action. Now on 3rd down, they're forced to throw it. But here where they are, they're well inside of Greg Davis's field goal range. So don't look for them to do anything silly and give up the opportunity for a field goal.
Phoenix 0 for 6. 3rd down conversions. This is 3rd and 9. Tupa batted down. A horde of Eagles. Take your pick. Simmons, Small, Brown.
And here we have Reggie White, 92, working on Big Tootie Robbins. Tootie had his number early. Whoa.
Talk about strength.
Tootie is about 315 pounds. Reggie threw him aside like a little kid. And that's the kind of leverage and speed and power that Reggie White usually plays with. First half, we didn't see that.
Now that was awesome. A 42-yard field goal attempt by Greg Davis. He's hit a 52. And this one is good. So Greg Davis, with his 4th field goal of the afternoon, puts the Cardinals out in front 19-10. Not a very happy looking Eagles bench, understandably. Philadelphia trailing 19-10. And remember, at halftime you saw Mike Quick honored by the Philadelphia Eagles organization, one of the legendary receivers. Matter of fact, a man who's among the top 4 all time with the Eagles. Mike Quick, total of 61 touchdowns in his 9-year career, 363 receptions, and indeed lived up to the last name of Quick. And he's joined us in the booth, and we will talk with Mike in just a second as we take a look at Greg Davis, who's been working that foot well this afternoon. 4 field goals, and he has the Cardinals out in front by 9. And this one goes out. Will be a penalty of assessed, of course. But let's get back to Mike Quick. We're joined here in the booth, as I mentioned, Randy Cross and myself, with Mike Quick, and just an outstanding career on your part. Size up the young receivers that the Eagles have. We're trying to fill the shoes of a Mike Quick.
Well, James, I think we have a great young group. Calvin Williams, I thought when he came into the league, was a pro already. He looked like a pro. He reminded me a lot of Wes Chandler. The other guy, Fred Barnett, I thought was a little green, but right away he picked up the system, and you could see improvement in him day by day.
What do you make of the halting and stumbling in the first half of the Philadelphia offense? They just seemed a little bit out of it.
Well, they're just out of sync right now, and I think eventually McMahon will get the boys rolling, and we'll put some points on the board.
1st and 10, ball from the 35 of Philadelphia. 8:16 left in the 3rd period of play. Jackson in motion. Complete to Jackson, and Jackson bullying his way to within about 2 yards of the first down marker. Calling an 8-yard pickup. And Mike, of course, the question on most Philadelphia fans' minds is, can this team win without Randall Cunningham?
Well, I think so. There's so many weapons here. With Jim McMahon at the helm, I think Jim will spread the ball around and to give other guys opportunities to step up and make a lot of plays. And, they'll make their contribution where Randall's contribution won't be there. These guys will step up and do a bigger job, and their names will be known as bigger players with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Mike Quick, thank you very much for joining us. Outstanding career. We know you didn't want to do it at halftime, but we're glad you did.
Thank you.
2nd and 2 for Philadelphia. Sanders. And Sanders up under the pile. Looks like he may have gotten it, Randy. We'll see where they spot the ball.
So far, a good attitude drive so far for the Philadelphia Eagles. Keith Jackson gets out there on the right side with a little flip pass, piles into the defenders, knocks over a couple of Eagle coaches. Now a good straight ahead run gets them a first down. This is the kind of stuff Philadelphia needs. Nothing real flashy, but very effective.
Ball at the 45. 1st and 10. Fred Barnett out top. Calvin Williams to the bottom of the screen. Sanders, the lone back. Ken Harvey right on top of McMahon. He's got him. 2nd sack of the afternoon, number 1 for Ken Harvey. That brings the total for the year for Harvey to number 3.
Watch the guided missile 56 come in here off the left side. Cecil Gray, you couldn't see it, but he stepped forward. Ken Harvey, you cannot make a mistake, even a small mistake in footwork, against a guy as quick and as strong as Ken Harvey.
Randy, you really like him, although I guess many folks outside of football aren't aware of Harvey yet. He's a talent.
The Phoenix Cardinals keep playing like they are today, and they played last week. Everybody around the NFL is going to know about Ken Harvey. He'll have a little hula practice in Hawaii from late January if he's playing like this.
From the 39, 2nd and 17. McMahon throws it complete to Byers of the short variety. And again, you said that typifies the Fritz Shurmur defense, Randy.
They'll let you have the ball in front of them. Then their job is to make the tackle or strip you of the ball. And there you see Fritz Shurmur, and that's his style of system. He drove the 49ers absolutely crazy for years with his defense with the Los Angeles Rams, because you were never quite sure what Fritz was going to do. You knew his guys had dropped back. You knew they were good tacklers, but he takes a lot of chances sometimes with blitzes and comes out in weird fronts that really shock offenses.
He and Joe Gable met back in 1975 as assistants with the Detroit Lions. Philadelphia 0 for 7, third down conversions. This is 3rd and 13. McMahon looking for Barnett, overthrows him. So Philadelphia will have to punt it away as McMahon scrambling.
McMahon gets good protection from the middle of the line. He's able to step up and scramble out of the way of a fierce rush by Nunn and Harvey. But watch this hit at the end. Barnett goes up. If he comes to the ball, he could come down in bounds, but Zordich, 38, is there to guarantee he won't.
A nice leap by Barnett. To no avail, unfortunately, as Beagles bunts it away and centers, signaling for the fair catch at the 15. So the Cardinals will take over at their own 15, a 43-yard punt. Next Saturday here on CBS, the pennant races heat up, as most of you will see either the Dodgers battle the Braves for first place in the National League West, or see the Oakland Athletics take on the AL East leading Toronto Blue Jays as both try to win their respective divisions. It all gets underway at 2:30 Eastern with Baseball 91, updating all the news around the league. So we'll take a look at Andre Waters, and he is a big baseball fan, and we'll tell you specifically how so after this play. 1st and 10 for the Cardinals. And Johnson ahead for a yard and a half. And I mentioned Andre Waters being a big baseball fan. Randy, he likes your guys.
Well, he said for years I rooted for the Atlanta Braves. They say, who's your team? The Atlanta Braves. Who do you really like? The Atlanta Braves. He said years and years. And finally this year, I said, the heck with the Braves. Who's your team? The Los Angeles Dodgers. They're my team. He goes, heck, I turn around, the Braves are right in it again. He says, I can't lose in this race.
Look at him, Andre Waters. Colorful character, to say the least. 2nd and 9 from the 17. 4:55 remaining in the 3rd. Tupa going up top, looking for Jones, just beyond the intended receiver, Ernie Jones. Ben Smith on the coverage. Tupa 6 of 17 for 218 yards on the afternoon. You know, we were talking about Andre Waters. So many people say, in fact, they think he's a dirty player. He doesn't feel that. He says, hey, I'm just a hard-hitting player.
Well, last year, you see, 1 penalty for 15 yards. That was a personal foul against Washington. I happen to believe the guy's gotten a bit of a bad rap. He's made some bad decisions on plays in national television games and gotten some commentators to really rip him and call him dirty. I think he's an extremely aggressive player, a good aggressive player who's made some bad decisions. Dirty players don't last in this league.
Tupa has it batted down, and the string continues for the Cardinals. They're now 0 for 8 third down conversions. That ball batted down by Mike Golick.
Well, we talked in the first half about field position, and right now, this Philadelphia Eagle defense is going to give their offense some good field position. Watch his whole line surging. Golick gets that big 90 paw up there and blocks that pass.
From the 38, Rod Harris of the Eagles gets it across midfield to the 49. A 13-yard return by Rod Harris. It'll be 1st and 10, ball at the 49, 4:27 remaining in the 3rd. Take a look at Rich Kotite and Joe Bugle on the opposite side.
Look for Jim McMahon to involve Jackson a little bit more in the passing game, get more of these 10, 15-yard intermediate passes into the offense.
Play action. McMahon going downtown. Incomplete. Just beyond the outstretched hands of Keith Jackson. Will make that Barnett. I guess Jackson would like to have the speed of Barnett.
McMahon gets some fine protection here. Little double team working on Harvey coming from the left side. He had his man. It was right there. Maybe one of those plays Barnett might have been able to lay out. He wouldn't have scored, but I think he would have caught it.
Second and 10. Sanders. Nowhere. Great tackle by Garth Jacks. Good read by Jacks. A loss of 3 on the play.
There's a big one. Rams 16-6 over the Giants.
I think Robinson had some pretty strong words throughout the week.
Well, he promised, like we saw in NFL today. He said he was going to make changes and things would be different. And so far, they sure have been.
Look at New Orleans still on top of Kansas City.
Well, the offense for Philadelphia seems to have reverted to its early first half shape. If it wasn't for this Philadelphia defense, this game could get lopsided.
And the Eagles yet to convert on 3rd down. 3rd and 13. McMahon complete to Barnett. Still on his feet. And that is the first down conversion for the Eagles this game.
They couldn't get shut out forever. McMahon gets some nice protection up front, but the key to this is that the receivers were able to get out there, run the patterns, and find the hole. Barnett settles down right in the back of the zone in between Lynch and Zordich, the safety. Makes a fine reception, then sort of gets mauled.
Sort of gets mauled, huh? In Cardinals territory, ball at the 32. To Sanders. Sanders running hard for about 5. We'll bring up a 2nd and 5. Zordich and Lynch on the stop.
Well, just about the time I'm ready to say they're in the doldrums and the offense isn't working. Jim McMahon kind of slaps people around and decides he's going to get back in this football game.
2:16 remaining in the 3rd. Philadelphia trailing by 9. Complete to Williams for the first down and more. "12-yard pass play."
McMahon's doing something now he wasn't doing in the first half. He's using the whole offense. He's hitting Barnett, he's hitting Williams, he's hitting Sanders. And here another quick one to Williams, who picks up an extra few yards just with sheer determination. He won't let Aeneas Williams bring him down alone.
It'll be 1st and 10 from the 15. 1:25 left in the 3rd. Eagles trailing 19-10. Chased and caught from behind by Harvey, but a 4-yard pickup on the play. Byers limping noticeably there.
That's a durable football player right there, though, Keith Byers. This guy can do it. And you forget about the fact this guy is 6'1", 240 pounds, who can line up as a split receiver in the slot, catch passes out of the backfield, and they'd love him to rush for more yards. See, you can see Keith Byers last year had a bit of a down year running with the ball, but 81 receptions was tied an Eagle record.
2nd and 6. Complete touchdown, Barnett. Did he hold on to it long enough? They didn't rule it a touchdown, so it's a fumble. And recovered by Aeneas Williams. Now we'll find out whether this play will be reviewed.
Well, you saw the referee in the green shirt, Rich Kotite, letting his information. He'd like to call that 6 points. The key here is as Barnett caught the ball and went to go into the end zone, did he have possession as the ball crosses the plane of the end zone? Here we'll see it from the end zone view. McMahon with great protection, plenty of time to step up. There's Barnett on the right, steps in. Ooh, that's tough to call. Freddie Joe Nunn puts a lick on him, and he gives the ball up, and Aeneas Williams picks it up and takes a heck of a hit here on the side. Gets hog-tied around the head.
And he's still on the ground. Well, McMahon, he thought he had a touchdown as well, Randy.
And what's he think? He thinks 6 points. Now he can't believe it. What are you doing to me? I got a cover?
Obvious discussion taking place here.
The way guys are milling around this football field, there's a lot of confusion here on the field. And the only place where I think there's any calm is down there in the end zone among all the black hats with the one white one.
On the field, we have ruled fumble recovered by the defense. The play is being reviewed.
Like to see a side view of that one.
And as we said, what they're reviewing upstairs is going to be, did the ball cross the plane? If he fumbles once he crosses that plane with the ball, a fumble is irrelevant.
All right, let's see if we can be definitive here.
He's got it, takes a step.
I think he's across the plane.
He would appear. It all depends on where the ball was, but it looks like it probably was.
In the meantime, Aeneas Williams is up, being helped off the field to the Cardinals sideline.
Well, right now we've got about, I'd say 35, 40 football players milling around on the field trying to decide if it's offense in or defense in.
Awaiting the word down from the replay booth, where Fritz Graff is the replay official.
All right, James, if they call us a touchdown and Barnett starts celebrating, can he be penalized 5 yards for having too much fun in public?
Can you believe it? And again, a 2-minute limitation once it's been determined that the play is being reviewed.
And the 2 minutes is not from the end of the play. The 2 minutes is from the time you heard McCarter, the referee, announce we are going to a replay.
After review, the play stands as ruled. Phoenix ball, first down at the 3-yard line.
One more time. Let's see Barnett. That is awfully close. But they've ruled upstairs that he was not over the plane of the ball with the end zone, so that is a fumble. Cardinals ball.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
The score stands 19-10 Phoenix. 32 seconds left in the third, and the word from the replay booth, the replay was inconclusive, so the play stands. Phoenix will take over with the ball on its own 3.
You saw Philadelphia now up to 4 turnovers. Big play time for the defense. They better get used to it. They'll have to do this all year long.
First down, Johnson to the 19. A 17-yard run to daylight by Johnny Johnson. 14 carries for 37 yards. And that will be the last play of the third quarter. And that's the end of the third quarter with the score. Cards 19, Eagles 10. Our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. No complaints about the weather here in Philadelphia. Veterans Stadium, full house on hand. Eagles trailing the Cardinals 19-10 as we start the fourth quarter. James Brown along with Randy Cross. And Randy, as you look ahead to the fourth quarter, what's important for the Eagles and that man there, Mcmahon?
I think to get the ball back, this defense has got to really stiffen up. They've let Phoenix out of a hole. If I'm Phoenix, I want to run the ball, stay behind this big offensive line, make some very safe passes. Don't do anything stupid and turn the ball over.
Johnson, the ball carrier, and Johnson across the 25. 5-yard gain, stopped by Reggie White. And we saw both Johnson and Thompson in the backfield. Joe Bugle talked about having two very talented backs, wants them in the game as much as possible.
Well, he's gotten Johnson and Thompson in the last year. What he inherited was a big physical offensive line, something coaches can't really get. Most teams have to draft that big group. I mean, look at those guys. They're all over 300 pounds. You just don't, most coaches don't have the luxury of coming in and having that kind of a talent. If anybody's going to win this game, it's those 5 guys up front right now. Take physical control of the game and run this clock down.
Affectionately called the butt boys by their opponents. Johnson, maybe a yard. We'll bring up a 3rd and 4 situation as you take a look at Rich Kotite. And he's got a pretty big youngster himself on the offensive line, and Anton Davis at 325 pounds. But Randy, I still maintain, you and I discussed this, that Tootie Robbins is bigger.
Tootie might be stronger, but downstairs it's no contesto. See, Tootie fills out his pants, but he looks like he lifts weights, and he's just a big guy. Right? Anton Davis is out offside. When he gets in that stance, he's got pants back around the quarterback. He's so big.
3rd and 4. Tupa, sack. Clyde Simmons.
And that was one of those big plays we're talking about the Philly defense better get used to. They've got to make these plays for the offense. It doesn't have the punch it does with Randall Cunningham. Great stunt. Clyde Simmons comes around. The offense should get the ball somewhere around the 40 to 50-yard line in excellent position.
Rich Camarillo punting to Rod Harris. Harris from his own 30. Gets across the 40 to the 42. So a 48-yard punt by Camarillo, a 13-yard return by Rod Harris, and the Eagles will operate with good field position.
This game summary is sponsored by Budweiser.
Game summary up to this point. Tom Tupa still doing the job in the air for Phoenix. Phoenix also has scored 10 points off of Philadelphia turnovers. Greg Davis 4 field goals. That accounts for the 19-10 score. Would have been a lot closer if this play had been ruled the way Philadelphia thought it was. If they thought it was a touchdown, it was ruled a fumble. Phoenix escapes. 1st and 10 from the 42 for Philadelphia. 13:05 remaining in the game. McMahon complete to Barnett. Barnett trying to get to the 1st down marker. About a half a yard shy. Caught on a 9.5-yard pickup, stopped by Robert Massey.
And they're starting to move Jim McMahon out a little bit. They got the guards pulling, setting the pocket out on the outside. They're stuffing the outside linebackers right now in so that McMahon can get a little roll working and has a little bit more time to throw.
Sign of encouragement for McMahon.
No doubt alluding something about that Super Bowl ring Jim McMahon has locked away in his house in Chicago somewhere.
1985 to be exact. 2nd and 1. 1st down, Philadelphia. Byers. .12:06 remaining. Eagles down by 9.
That's a dog-tired defense right there. They've been on the field, it seems like, this whole football game because the offense has been 3 and out. In the last 2 possessions, Jim McMahon starting to spread the ball around.
1st and 10. Jackson in motion. McMahon throws it complete. It's going to be about 2 yards shy, make it 3 shy of the first down. But the completion to Fred Barnett nonetheless. Fred Barnett thought the underneath stuff would be there all day, Randy. Noticing in films how the Cardinals play at least 10 yards off.
Well, they'll play soft, and they'll give him a certain amount of receptions underneath, gambling the fact that A, a ball may be dropped, or B, they can come up, fill, strip, and get the ball in a fumble.
Talking about the tired Cardinals defense. Chris Williams in to replace Jim Waller. 2nd and 2. On the ground, Sanders. Nothing happening.
We're going to have a 3rd and a long one here.
Randy, you were talking about that tired Cardinals defense. And again, this is the part of the game where Jim Waller historically has gotten tired. And I mentioned that Chris Williams, beefier, came in to replace him on that series.
Well, he's definitely a lot bigger target. He's a good 20-25 pounds heavier than Waller. He stuffed that last play pretty effectively. This is the biggest play of the game so far for the Philadelphia Eagles. They have got to convert this right here with around 10 minutes to go in the 4th quarter.
And Ron Heller at right tackle in place of Davis. On 3rd down, McMahon gets rid of it. And it's going to be shy of the first down. Great hit, good read by Tim McDonald. And big decision time for Rich Kotite.
A textbook form tackle by Tim McDonald, the safety, to prevent that first down. I don't think Rich Kotite and company have a choice. They have got to go for it here. It will be 4th and inches.
McDonald greeted Jackson a half a yard from the first down marker. And Kotite, as you said, no choice but to go. 4th and inches.
Here's where the Jim McMahon experience and inspiration has got to come into play. The offensive line for Philadelphia does something they have not done much today, and that's get a surge on the Phoenix defense. Harvey comes around from the outside, number 56, but he gets there too late to prevent the first down. And there's a group. They've gotten a lot of flack, that offensive line for Philadelphia. But if the Eagles are going to win this game and pull this out, that's going to be the group that's going to have to help Jim McMahon do it.
From the 35, 1st and 10, 8:33 remaining. Eagles trailing by 9. Play action. McMahon nearly intercepted, and a catchable ball, Lorenzo Lynch. And Lynch, that's number 2 that he could have had.
There was a good indication of what Jim McMahon thought of that pass. He got a little pressure. He flicked that thing out as he was going down. He wasn't on the ground but about a nanosecond. I mean, he was there and he was up because he knew who was going to catch that one, and he was going to help cover on that thing.
I mentioned a couple of plays before, Ron Heller going in at right tackle to replace Davis.
But the big guy Davis is back in there, huh?
Yes, he had a bruised left shoulder, but they think he'll be back in. 2nd and 10. Complete to Byers. And Byers out at the 27. 3 yards away from the first down marker. Tim McDonald on the hit.
Watch right here. Philadelphia gets away with a move. Jackson, the tight end, jumped on that play, and it was not picked up by the referees. The officials missed one. Philly got a break.
8:10 remaining in the contest. 3rd and 3. Ball at the 27 of Phoenix. Sanders inside handoff. Back where make it. Strung out nicely by the Cardinals defense, led by Freddie Joe Nunn.
In this situation, Rich Kotite's going to go for the field goal. He's well within Ruzic's range. He's got about 7:51 left on the clock. He wants to try to bring that thing inside of a touchdown. He'll pull within 6 points if this thing is good.
And this will be a 47-yard field goal attempt by Reeves. It's up. And this is no good. So the Eagles still trail it by 9 with 7:26 left in the game.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Cadillac and your local Cadillac dealer. Discover why the only way to travel is Cadillac style. Dean Witter. Dean Witter measures success one investor at a time. And by Budweiser, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud.
10 plays, 28 yards. Longest drive so far. Bad snap. A little bit of a fumble on the hold, and I think that causes Reeves to pull it left.
Johnson running left for 4. And you can bet Joe Bugle, NFC East bred coach, will keep it on the ground. Bring up a 2nd and 6 as you take a look. Phoenix opening up big in the first quarter, capitalizing on Eagle mistakes. And 4 field goals by Greg Davis helped to make it a 19-10 lead. 17 carries, 48 yards for John Johnson on the afternoon.
Yeah, Joe Bugle doesn't mind to win games ugly, you know. You don't get a whole lot of yards, so what? It's kind of like golf. It's not how, it's how many.
Ball at the 34, 2nd and 6. 6:40 left in the game. Johnson. And Johnson with a 5-yard run. Pushed out of bounds at the 38, needed to get to the 40 for the first down. Jesse Small pushing him out of bounds.
And in this situation, it shouldn't be a real mystery of what's going to happen here. It's going to be 3rd down. It's going to be short yardage. Joe Bugle's got his 300-pounders plus in front of that running back. They've got to make a hole and get a first down and run some more time off this clock.
Phoenix 0 for 9 3rd down conversions.
And Tom Tupa will take this clock. You saw the play clock right there. He'll take that thing all the way down to 1 and run as much time as possible off.
And a little too much. Flags on the play. We'll push him back 5.
He used that voice inflection again and seemed he might have drawn somebody offside. Maybe the maybe the big fella again.
Encroachment, number 99 defense, 5 yards. The penalty will create a first down.
Rough afternoon for Jerome Brown.
You can't practice that. No matter what you do when you're running around and you're lifting weights, if you're not in training camp, you cannot practice that snap count and that cadence pulling you offside. I mean, the only thing you could maybe Jerome could have done was have people sneak up on him and scream at him and see if he still flinched and jumped. But that was about it.
Well, a first down gained the easy way.
Under 5.5 minutes to play now.
From the 44. Johnson. A yard gained on the play. Will bring up a 2nd and 9 from the 45. Randy Cross's Dodgers on top, bottom of the 7. Atlanta has drawn to within 1 of New York. Toronto has regrouped and done well. Nice lead. .450 left in the contest. 2nd and 9.
Good time for a play action pass, James.
And Anthony Thompson ahead for maybe 2. He's credited with 1 yard. Will bring up a 3rd and 8.
Phoenix got this ball with about 7:10 left to go in this 4th quarter. They've already run the clock down to around 4:15. So they now have run almost 3 minutes off the clock in this little abbreviated drive.
Joe Bugle trying to make the city of brotherly love an every year stop. Picked up his first victory as a Cardinals head coach last year right here.
Full complement of timeouts left on both sides.
On 3rd and 8. Tupa incomplete. And Phoenix yet to convert a 3rd down. So Rich Camarillo comes on. See if he can put some lead in it. Rod Harris back to receive it for the Eagles.
Very important here for Philadelphia to get good hold up for a return and try to set up a return here, because Camarillo will be trying to boom this thing down and pin him down inside the 10-yard line.
Harris from his 14. Flag on the play. And Harris dropped at the 19. A 5-yard return of a 40-yard punt by Rich Camarillo, but there are flags on the play.
Pretty obvious mistake was made right there with a push in the back on the return.
Illegal block during the return, number 46 receiving team. Half the distance to the goal line, first down.
That's Izell Jenkins. Cardinals on top by 9 with 3:38 left. Coming up next here on CBS Sports, it'll be U.S. Open men's final action between Stefan Edberg and Jim Courier, and the pros make it look easy, Randy.
I really hate it when these pros steal my moves. Behind the back, I like the one between the legs, but I'm not quite as flexible as this. I think I'd tear a rotator if I tried that one.
Hey, who do you like in the finals, Randy?
I think I got to go with Edberg.
You talk about tearing the rotator. I think you have a relatively sizable pair of groceries back there that might keep that shot from happening as well.
But back to football, James. Izell Jenkins may have put a couple of nails in his team's coffin with that illegal block in the back on that punt. Very critical error, putting the Eagles in a big hole.
Specifically from their own 9. And the play is stopped.
Little motion in the backfield early.
False start before the snap, 71 offense. Half the distance, still first down.
Well, it wasn't in the backfield, but maybe Cecil Gray started there. He ended up in the backfield anyway. Little motion.
9 penalties on the afternoon against that squad there. The Eagles, a loss of 67 yards total.
Big Cecil there, 71's had a heck of a day blocking against Ken Harvey. He has got to get a little bit of a jump like that. That time he got caught. It was the backside of a run, and he was trying for an inside block.
First and 15 from the 4. 3:38 left in the game. Cardinals on top by 9. McMahon to Sanders, and Sanders greeted by Freddie Joe Nunn. 5 picked up on a play. We'll make it 2nd and 10.
And McMahon's got him in the hurry-up offense here.
And again, both teams with 3 timeouts remaining. And overthrows Keith Byers. Will bring up a 3rd and 10. Jim McMahon, 19 of 34 in the afternoon for 173 yards.
Little holding on that play on one of the offensive linemen, no doubt.
As we take a look, the reason I couldn't see the flag, big 71.
Holding, 71 offense, penalty decline, 3rd down.
Big Cecil Gray was the one blocking it. Certain part of his body had it covered up.
And this is pressure time for that offensive line of Philadelphia, because Ken Harvey, Freddie Joe Nunn, and the rest of that defense is going to have all their weight on that front hand, and they're coming after Mr. McMahon's hide right here.
Eagles 1 of 11 in third down conversions. And McMahon is going to try to run for it, and he gets it. And wisely out of bounds at the 20. Second first down of the afternoon for the Eagles.
We've been talking about big Cecil Gray, only his second game as an offensive tackle, working against Harvey here. Didn't jump, kept his leverage, kept his feet going.
And got some help from Bruce Collins.
And Jim McMahon got a little pressure and runs out of the pocket. And Philadelphia's hopes are still alive as we just about to the 3-minute mark in the fourth quarter.
3:02 to be exact. First and 10 from the 21. Inside handoff to Sanders. There's a flag on the play. And Sanders pulled down by Lorenzo Lynch. There is a flag on the play. As McCarter heads over to the head linesman to find out exactly what it is.
Another premature move by the Philadelphia offense.
Illegal formation offense.
That's usually not enough guys on the line of scrimmage. The case is usually one of the offensive linemen may have lined up too far in the backfield.
And Randy, if I'm paraphrasing correctly, you said it in the first half. A lot of preseason type mistakes by the Eagles. 10th penalty of the afternoon.
Yeah, Philadelphia seems to have lost more than Randall Cunningham last week against the Green Bay Packers. They seem to have lost a lot of continuity and a lot of concentration, especially on their offensive unit.
First and 15. Byers and Sanders. And McMahon smashed by Freddie Joe Nunn. And a touchdown. The play was not ruled dead as Rod Sadler picked up the loose ball and took it in for the score. So a combination of the smash hit by Freddie Joe Nunn for the sack and Sadler with the fumble recovery for the score.
Well, we've been watching Cecil Gray, but the other rookie, Anton Davis over there, Nunn knocks McMahon into next week. Runs right around Anton Davis, puts his helmet under the chin. Watch the ball spurt loose. Right now, that ball's on the ground. That is a fumble. Besides being a fumble, look at Sadler. He didn't know whether to hatch it, paint it, or score with it.
He knew what to do. He ran with it. Whistle did not sound, and smartly took it on in.
You look at the defensive linemen get a touchdown like that on the sideline. They don't give it to the officials. Wide receivers, they flip it to the official. No big deal. Big Sadler, he ain't gonna let anybody else have that ball. He's taking that home with him.
Well, apparently the play is being reviewed by Fritz Graff because there's no action on the field.
There, he still hasn't let that ball go. Look at everybody. That was nothing to it.
Yeah,
they couldn't have caught me anyway. So what if it was 3 yards?
If that play is reversed, I think Sadler will make his way up the stairs to the replay booth.
What they'll be reviewing here is whether or not possession was truly lost on the hit, but it sure seemed that the ball came loose.
The play stands as ruled. Recovered fumble. Touchdown.
Rod Sadler, the fifth-year player out of Texas A&M.
Now among the middle of the pack in the scoring title in the NFL in the second week.
And Davis, a busy young man today with the point after. And it's a 26-10 Cardinals lead. And Joe Bugle, who did not really have to mess up the moose look today. Plenty to smile about, at least on the inside. Next Sunday, the NFL on CBS continues when most of you will see the Philadelphia Eagles against the Dallas Cowboys or the Phoenix Cardinals against the Washington Redskins. The action begins at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today, the last word before kickoff.
And I think with this, what really would have seemed to be a win, the Phoenix Cardinals are going to get the NFC East undivided attention. Last week, a lot of turnovers. Some people thought it might have been a fluke. This today was just a complete befuddling and beating up on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Joe Bugle said, in the scheme of things, it was important, Randy, that they win in the preseason and keep it going to get the folks believing. I think you're right. There's some believers out there now. Sanders from the 1. And Thomas Sanders has certainly done his part today as he gets it back up to the 24. Today's game was produced by Dan Forer and directed by Mike Arnold. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin, and the executive producer is Ted Shaker. And special thanks to Gary Lynn and Steve Kleinfeld. Brad Gable, the rookie from Baylor, into the game for the Eagles. At the helm, the man they call Goober.
I tell you what, with the protection Jim McMahon there was getting from his offensive line, it would have been downright inhumane to put him in here for the last couple of minutes against that rush the Phoenix Cardinals are putting on the quarterback.
2:37 left in the game. Gable back to pass and throws it complete to Byers.
Brad Gable played his high school football down in Little Cuero, Texas, in South Texas.
Population 7,000. And Gable comes out and throws for a first down on his first pass. And complete by Gable to Rod Harris for yet another first down and a late flag. So Gable comes out with his first 2 professional passes, and they're complete.
I believe the flag may be an illegal assist by Keith Jackson on the receiver. After he caught the ball, Jackson grabbed him. Yes, that's what it is. Jackson grabbed him and pulled him forward. You cannot do that.
Creative.
I mean, you got to get an A for effort, but
but know the rules, huh?
Illegally helping the runner, number 88 on the offense. 10-yard penalty from the dead ball spot. They still have made a first down.
Now let's see it here. Watch the catch. That's no problem. Harris has got that. Now watch Jackson. Come on, little buddy. Come on, little buddy. Let me help you.
Well, like you said, A for effort. You like the intent.
Now, if you help him go to the ground, they don't call it. But if you help pull him forward, then it's a penalty.
First and 10 from the 47. Winding down to the 2-minute mark. Gable, 3rd consecutive completion. This one to Keith Jackson, and Jackson laterals to Byers, and Byers is run out of bounds at the 27 by Lorenzo Lynch. Well, he's basically by himself whistling, signaling that it's a 2-minute mark and appreciation for the play. Only a handful of fans remaining here at the Vet in Philadelphia. That's because Phoenix leads at 26-10. 217 passing yards by Tom Tupper, one of the big stats on the day. Tonight on CBS, it all starts with 60 Minutes, followed by Murder, She Wrote, and the CBS Sunday movie Lies Before Kisses, starring Jacqueline Smith and Ben Gazzara. That's all tonight right here on CBS. 1:53 left in the contest.
Not too many happy faces on that Philadelphia bench.
First and 10 from the 27. Gable with his 4th consecutive completion. This one to Heath Sherman. And since Gable has come in, I tell you, understand it's a hurry-up offense, but boy, they've been playing well.
I don't think Gable's quite seen the same intense Cardinal defense that Mr. McMahon faced just only a few minutes ago, but he's making good use of his time in the game. Incomplete. Intended receiver Sherman again, his first miss. The streak dies. 5 turnovers. You cannot make turnovers like that and win in this league. 11 penalties. I know Philadelphia is one of the most penalized teams in the league, but generally they're able to overcome it. You know, this kind of performance today against Phoenix, not to take anything away from the Cardinals, but this type of performance by the Eagles is the kind of performance that vexes Eagle fans. They see a team come out and blow a team away, just dominate the Packers. Next week they come out and say, you know, who are these guys? Our plane didn't come back from Green Bay?
On 3rd and inches. First down as James Joseph runs for the first down. .118 remaining.
James, we talked about yesterday, we asked Tim McDonald and company, you guys aware about how long it's been since you beat a team with a winning record? 38 teams with winning records have beat the Cardinals until today.
Bobbled for a second, but pulled in by James Joseph inside the 10. 5 yards picked up on a play as Gable comes to the side. We had a little fun talking with him about where he's from, as you mentioned. Cuero, Texas, population 7,000. The self-proclaimed turkey capital.
Turkey capital of the world. That's right. It's a mere stone's throw from a little town called Carrizo Springs, where John Ayers, longtime guard for the 49ers I played with, grew up in Carrizo Springs. And I went down to visit him once, and believe me,
relaxing.
That's got to be the turkey capital, because there ain't much else going on down there.
As Philadelphia burns off a timeout, leaving 2. Phoenix with 3. Well, Randy, you were all on top of it, and a little statistical embellishment here. Cardinals have not beaten a team with a winning record in 38 games.
You know, when I first saw that stat, James, I immediately thought back. The Cardinals had a great comeback against the 49ers when I was there my last year in '88, and they beat us. I saw that date. I went, November 13th. That's got to be us. That's got to be us in the record book. We were the last team. I was wrong. It wasn't us.
Oh, it was not?
Nah, it was the Raiders. Beaten out by the Raiders again.
Second and 5. Gable overthrows the intended receiver, Keith Jackson, with 1:05 remaining. And don't forget, coming up next, U.S. Open Men's Final. Stefan Edberg against Jim Courier. Tim Ryan, Pat Summerall, Tony Traber, and Mary Carrillo will bring you the action.
One thing I've really enjoyed the last couple of weeks with the U.S. Open coverage, James, is that the radar gun they've had on the serves, and Edberg has been smoking some serves out there. Courier's got a big gun, and on that hard surface, those plays are over in a heartbeat. Things happen so fast with 120-mile-an-hour serves.
I'd say. 3rd and 5. Complete. And Jackson trying to drag it down near the end zone.
Didn't get to the end zone, but I believe he might have gotten close enough for a first down. And they'll measure.
And it looks to be a first down. That it is. So with 52 seconds left, Brad Gable has a chance to direct the Eagles in for his first professional touchdown.
I believe this last drive for Philadelphia is more of a matter of pride and statistics. It'll bring this offensive stats up to snuff. But now Philadelphia down to their last timeout, calling a timeout as Gable heads to the sidelines. But this is going to be a game, I guarantee you, when Philadelphia goes to Phoenix, they'll study this game film long and hard.
Take a look at Gable over there talking with Rich Kotite. Said at first he was a little despondent because he wasn't certain if, in fact, maybe he wasn't bright enough to be catching on with all the plays. As you take a look at the Eagles' upcoming schedule, Dallas, Pittsburgh, Washington, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, how do you size it up?
I think it's a rough road to hoe for the Philadelphia Eagles, especially if their offense remains the way it is. The ineffectiveness of the offense is not Jim McMahon's fault. It's the surrounding cast. Was very ineffective, really lacked concentration, and had a very lackluster performance today. If they don't play any better, things don't look very good for the Philadelphia Eagles with that schedule coming up.
Tom Tupa and company head down to Washington next week to play in Joe Bugle's old haunts against the Redskins. And they've got a date with Dallas, New England, Giants, Minnesota. And the way Phoenix is playing, Let me tell you, those folks are looking out.
Well, it's been since 1974 that the Cardinals have started 3-0.
Sherman. Close, but not there. And you see the time remaining, 36 seconds. We'll bring up a second and goal. Ball at the 2.
Little indecision on the young quarterback's part. He better get his team up there.
Sanders, and Sanders doesn't make it with 13 seconds left in the game. And Gable burns off the last timeout for the Eagles. And Bugle, the man who had the hogs and loves the wide bodies, appreciative of that defense.
Say he might create some new words for this win now. Now they're 2-0. And I think this kind of legitimizes his chances and his team. But if this guy can come out, I mean, what was his latest word last year? Nauseation.
Nauseation.
You know, how are you feeling? Well, I felt a little nauseation coming on, so I decided to take it easy.
He's got some expressions. I know all the folks in Phoenix have heard the LTGs, legitimate tough guys. Yeah. And in fact, with this victory here, I'd say they are.
That's one of his legitimate tough guys right next to him there, number 51, Bill Lewis, the big center.
Well, Joe Bugle has a rah-rah style about him. And again, I've said it so often that a lot of the veterans didn't accept it very well the first year. Well, but they realize that he's an honest and straight shooter.
A lot of the veterans and a lot of the guys that didn't accept it the first year aren't in Phoenix anymore. Joe Bugle's got his players with the Cardinals.
And you better believe they believe. Sanders. No signal yet. Fumble and recovered by the Cardinals. So the last defensive stand, and Freddie Joe Nunn comes away with the fumble recovery.
How fitting is that for the performance of the Philadelphia offense today? Unbelievable. Too bad Sanders does this in this situation. Philadelphia needed some sort of a positive thing. He gets stripped. He's on top of the pile. The ball squirts into the end zone. Gosh.
And it looked like the big paw of Eric Hill that knocked that one loose.
One more time from the end zone. Watch 58. Fills in from behind. No, nobody brought that ball loose. Looks like Sanders just dropped it.
I think Eric Hill will argue a good case for you.
And big Freddie Joe Nunn, number 50, came up with the ball.
So Joe Bugle has the Cardinals out in front in the win department with a 2-zip record. And boy, talk about forcing the 5th fumble of the game.
Yeah, 5th fumble today. That's 10 fumble recoveries in the last 2 weeks for the Phoenix Cardinals defense. And Joe Gibbs will notice that when he opens those cans of tapes up tomorrow.
So when you look at the total number of turnovers that the Cardinals have forced in 2 weeks, a grand total of 13. 7 by the Rams, 6 here by the Eagles.
And they've turned the ball over 1 time. The 1 interception by Thompson.
So the Phoenix Cardinals come away victorious as Joe Bugle has the Cardinals with a mark of 2-0. And rest assured, Tom Tupa and Tim McDonald took that stat that they heard about. Any team going 2-0 last year, all those squads made the playoffs. 80% over the past 5 years. So for Randy Cross, I'm James Brown saying so long from Veterans Stadium with the final score of the Cards 26, Eagles 10. Be sure to join us next Sunday as our NFL coverage continues. Some of you will see Philadelphia at Dallas, while others will see Phoenix at Washington. Coming up next, the U.S. Open men's final as Jim Courier takes on Stefan Edberg. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League, and we'll send you to New York after this.